Hi, good day. This video, let us watch and see what are some failures that the pilot made, human error or natural. Let's find out and learn.
It's not really dangerous, it just requires the utmost of your training to kick in. That's what a captain pilot of a major US airline says about crosswind landing. In this video, you're about to see some of the most dramatic and dangerous crosswind landings in aviation history and so much more. Let's see how these pilots handle their aircraft. The first flight's always the hardest. This Chinese student pilot just flew the Cessna plane for the very first time after graduation, and things didn't go really well. He did hit two signs in a wide open field before crashing. Don't worry, your rich daddy will get you another airplane. Crosswind landings can be one of the most stressful things, even for experienced pilots. Let's see how this pilot handles the landing of the Antonov 225. Well done, pilot. But it's not always that simple. We're here in Japan. This pilot just didn't want to go around. Let's see. No matter how hard he tried, he still had to abort the landing. He returned to try to land again. Everything seemed easier this time. This flooded runway in Afghanistan really couldn't stop the C-5 Galaxy from taking off. What a beast! Just a typically beautiful day in St. Barth, France. You're taking a walk and... boom! An airplane just flies by right beside you. The Ukrainian Air Force pilots know how to have some fun during their training. Flying an Ilyushin 76 that low is really no joke. This guy lost his engine right on the runway at the beginning of a Formula One air race. He signaled the crew to get him out. However, the communication didn't come through, and this is what happened. That impact was violent, wow. I never thought I'd see an airplane accident like this in my lifetime. Luckily, everyone was safe. Landing in fog is a very challenging experience, especially when you have zero visibility. Wow, if this is not what faith looks like, I don't know what is.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
The pilot placed his full trust in the machine right there. This plane was landing on a super short runway. The captain was the famous Russian test pilot, Ruben Yasin. People said Dutch pilots are probably the best ones in the world. Let's see how they prove their talent in this storm.
Whoa!
Brilliant! View from the cockpit, this plane was landing at Courchevel Airport. Ask any pilot in the world about the most challenging airports, and they will probably tell you about Courchevel. There is no go-around when landing at Courchevel once the chance is all you got.
Tôi phải làm cái
Can you hear that awful squeal of the wheel? He just made a French kiss to snow on a beautiful touchdown day. Wow, that's a really deep kiss. Ha! No worries, everyone on the plane made it out safely. If you have a chance to visit Maho Beach and St. Martin, remember to keep your head down, because this is what's gonna happen. Everyone was excited to see the plane take off, and if you're not careful, you might get a free flight into the ocean. This student pilot on the right was getting a lesson from his coach, Anthony Yen, and everything seemed to be going great. Suddenly, a big shake made them realize that they'd lost one engine. They knew that they needed to land immediately, and they were lucky. There was a cornfield right in front of them. It only took him 49 seconds from engine failure to a safe landing on the ground. That's crazy quick thinking, experience, and composure to pull that off. Excellent piloting. This Convair 340 suffered an engine failure just moments after takeoff during a flight trial in Pretoria. The brutal weather at Hamburg Airport couldn't stop the Boeing 747 from taking off. The Silkway aircraft indeed left an interesting silkway of water right after takeoff. I think this pilot wanted to use both of the runways, but that first one was way too short. Good job anyway. Runways are always designed to extend themselves in front of a moving airplane, but this Aircrafts has almost run off the runway and can hardly take off. Did you see that super low pass? It almost hit those people on the ground. These Colombian guys are super brave to even stand there. Aircrafts is an infamous cargo airline that has been involved in several accidents and incidents due to the overweight carriage and reckless behavior of its pilots. Look at this crazy wind. I'd have a heart attack if I were the captain of that flight. That turbulence was insane. Looks like they were gonna land too deep due to excess speed. It's definitely rare to get to see an Airbus A380 go around. Bad trip. This A380 aborted landing at the last minute. The pilot must have realized he forgot to turn off the stove at home. Moral to the story is new sod right next to the runway is a bad idea. Good luck to the ground team who have to redo all the work. Ever wonder what it's going to look like to be in the cockpit when your plane's about to crash? Here you go. Even though it's not the best landing, but luckily, everyone was safe. Look at how slippery it is in that smoke trail. But this pilot from Uruguay Air Force has managed to pull it off. Nicely done. This Boeing 777 was trying to land at Itami Airport during a storm. Look at that shake. It's practically impossible to land, and the pilot had to abort the landing last minute. He went back for another try, and the wind was still blowing crazily. Look at that turbulence. But yes, he won the weather this time. Here's another stormy landing of a Boeing 747 during Storm Angus in Amsterdam 2016. Ooh, look at that wind in that landing. It's like he's letting the wind drive that plane onto the runway. Let's see it again. This pilot from Nippon Cargo's really killing it. Impressive. Do you hear that alarm sound? For some reason, management at this Indonesia airport thinks that's all they need to keep people off the runway. No walls, no fence. See? Planes are landing and taking off left and right, and there's nothing to keep people away from the busy runway. This is too dangerous. Now let's take a flight to Portugal and land at one of the most dangerous airports in the world, Cristiano Ronaldo Airport. A student pilot got this helicopter to take off without clearance during an auto-rotation practice, and now he's trying to land. Whoops, if he went down just a few seconds sooner, he would have crashed into that plane below. That was super close. The wind literally said, "Not today." It was so strong the entire plane was drifting and sliding, trying to touch the runway. Crazy! A crosswind landing could be terrifying for the crew and passengers, but from the outside, it looks just like a little dancing move from the pilot. Here's some other dancing show for you from the front view, and another one from the side view. These pilots must have given those passengers an experience to remember. Russian pilots are known for their crazy skill. It's absolutely no joke to take off this slow that these pilots will have no problem getting into the Aviators Hall of Fame. These pilots will have no problem getting into the Aviators Hall of Fame. And this is another dancing show in the crosswind from Fiji Airways. I'm still amazed every day by how they can get this giant C-5 beast to take off and fly. Let alone on such a short runway. Incredible! These Canadian pilots for sure know how to have some fun. Taking you to Nepal, let's see how this pilot handles this tricky runway in the world at Lukla Airport. Whoops, he didn't make it on the first try. Let's see how his second attempt goes. He did it! Well done! And not just landing, but taking off at Lukla is also a challenge. Do you think the pilot just decided to take a quick bath in the middle of the ocean? You might not be wrong, but it also takes crazy skill and practice to pull off a water landing and take off like this. Kudos to the captain. Welcome to Bodaibo Airport, where it's hard to take off, easy to crash, and impossible to forget. I've always wondered how strong the wind is to be able to blow a giant airplane out of its path. This C-47 beauty since World War II is waking up for the first time in 10 years. Look at that smoke. The radial engine is nothing like what we normally see these days. Look at that wing trail and water splash. I don't think there's a runway anywhere that gets wetter than this one at Port Macquarie. Amazing job by the captain. This is extremely rare footage of Airbus A3D contrail from the cockpit view of Boeing 747. It almost looks like a boat cruising through smooth water. Just beautiful. These two planes were landing parallel to the lake to get water to extinguish a nearby fire. It's a struggle for me to even walk on the sand, let alone land an aircraft like this C-130 Hercules. Brilliant job by the pilot. The pilot must have thought that it's a beautiful day to take this twin otter on a skiing trip. What a landing! Being a pilot is already stressful, but I can say Japanese pilots have it harder than anyone else because of the harsh weather all year round. Touch and go landings